Stop trying so hard. The universe heard you the first time. The prayer, the vision, the desire, it was already received, the moment you imagined it. Now your only work is to relax into the feeling that it's already done. Every time you worry, every time you check, you're telling the universe, I don't trust it yet. But when you finally breathe, when you let go, when you sink into that quiet confidence that whispers, it is finished, that is the moment everything begins to move. You see, creation doesn't respond to pressure. It responds to peace. It's not the tension of trying that manifests, it's the rest of knowing. There is a sacred power in calmness, the kind of calm that says, I don't need to chase what's already mine. Because the truth is, you're not waiting for your manifestation. Your manifestation is waiting for you to relax, to soften, to become the person who already has it. Right now, life is rearranging itself in ways you cannot see. The people, the timing, the circumstances all aligning perfectly, and the only bridge you must cross is the one between anxiety and assurance. So breathe. Feel that invisible shift inside your chest, that quiet knowing. That's not imagination. That's confirmation. You're not on the way. You're already there. And now, all that's left is to relax into the feeling of it being real. Welcome to Relax into the Feeling, the art of letting God finish what He already began through your imagination. Most people believe that power comes from effort, from grinding, forcing, pushing harder. But in truth, real power begins the moment you stop struggling and allow yourself to rest in certainty. Relaxation is not laziness. It is alignment. It is the divine signal that says, I already have what I asked for. The universe does not respond to tension. It responds to truth. And truth is effortless. When a seed is planted in the ground, it doesn't strain to grow. It simply rests in the soil, confident that its destiny is already written in its design. You are no different. Your desires are not accidents. They are divine blueprints, calling you home to what already belongs to you. Every time you imagine something clearly, you plant a spiritual seed. And every time you relax into the feeling that it's already yours, you water that seed with faith. The soil of your subconscious doesn't need you to check it every hour. It needs you to trust it. Think about it. The most magnetic people you've ever met, the ones who seem to attract miracles with ease, aren't frantic. They are calm, centered. They walk as if everything is already taken care of. Why? Because it is that stillness you feel when you know the answer to a prayer that's not imagination. That's divine recognition. Your nervous system relaxes, your energy harmonizes, and your consciousness emits one clear message to creation. It is done. This is the hidden power of relaxation. It is invisible, but it commands everything. When you finally stop begging life to change, and instead breathe as if it already has, the outer world begins to catch up to your new state of being. Circumstances rearrange themselves. Opportunities unfold without effort. People who align with your new vibration begin to appear, because the moment you relax, you stop resisting the flow of what is already coming to you. So, if you find yourself tense, anxious, or doubting, pause. Notice your body, your breath. That tightness is not a sign of progress. It's a signal of disbelief. Release it. You don't need to force the door open when it's already unlocked. You just need to turn the handle with calm assurance. Close your eyes for a moment and imagine the version of you who already has what you desire. How do they feel? Are they panicked? No. They are peaceful, grateful, certain. So practice feeling that now, before it happens. That's not pretending. That's prophesying. Because when you relax into the feeling of it being done, You're not creating something new. You're aligning with what already exists in the unseen. This is how miracles arrive quietly, naturally, without effort, not because you begged for them, but because you finally stopped standing in their way. So remember, relaxation is not the absence of power. It is power refined, pure, and unshakable. It is faith without words, belief without struggle, creation without strain. When you rest in that knowing, the universe has no choice but to obey. Now that you understand the hidden power of relaxation, let's go deeper into the divine mystery of the law of stillness, where creation happens not in movement, but in rest. Creation does not begin in motion. It begins in stillness. Before the universe ever spoke a word, there was silence, infinite, eternal, alive. That silence was not emptiness. It was potential. Every galaxy, every miracle, every answered prayer was hidden inside that quiet. This is the law of stillness. All power comes from the space between thoughts. All manifestation begins in the pause, the sacred moment before movement. Most people live in noise. Their minds are crowded with effort. Their hearts tense with questions. They chase signs, repeat affirmations, check results. They call that faith. But it is still fear wearing holy clothes. True faith is different. True faith is calm. It is the knowing that nothing needs to happen, because everything has already begun. When you enter stillness, you return to the source of creation itself. You stop trying to manipulate form and start communing with cause. And the moment you rest in that awareness, life reorganizes itself to match your peace. Silence is not absence, it is instruction. In stillness, the divine speaks without words. That inner whisper that says, wait, or not this way, or simply, be still. That is the universe adjusting your path in real time. But to hear it, you must quiet the inner noise. You must stop rehearsing the problem. You must stop asking when and start remembering now. Stillness is not something you force. It is something you allow. It appears when you stop pushing against life and start breathing with it. Try this. Sit quietly and close your eyes. Don't try to silence your mind. Just observe it, like watching waves return to the ocean. Let every thought dissolve into the background until there's only awareness, the pure sense of I am. That is the field where creation happens. That is where your new reality is conceived. Every image you hold there calm, clear, uncluttered, is a seed that will soon appear in your world. And the calmer you are when you hold it, the faster it grows. You see, the universe is exact. It mirrors your vibration, not your words. When you are frantic, you broadcast confusion. When you are still, you broadcast certainty. And certainty is magnetic. Certainty moves mountains quietly, without effort, without sound. So the next time your mind wants to rush, to fix, to control, pause. Do not react. Breathe deeply. Feel the peace underneath the panic. That peace is your true power. Every miracle you've ever prayed for already exists in stillness. It's not waiting to be created. It's waiting to be recognized. And the more you practice stillness, the easier it becomes to live from that divine calm where ideas arrive on their own. People show up by timing, and doors open without your hand even touching them. This is not magic. It is law, the law of stillness. When you master stillness, movement becomes sacred, and when you rest in peace, manifestation becomes inevitable. Everything you see began in a mind. Every structure, every invention, every destiny All were first imagined. Imagination is not fantasy. It is spiritual architecture. It is the unseen hand sketching blueprints before the house of reality is built. The outer world is not cause. It is reflection, a mirror faithfully showing you what has already been accepted in consciousness. When you understand this, you stop trying to fix effects. You return to the level of cause, your imagination. Most people imagine unconsciously. They rehearse their fears, replay disappointments, visualize lack, and then they call those experiences reality. But reality is simply imagination solidified. Your life is your mind in slow motion. Neville Goddard said, "Man's imagination is Christ himself." That means every time you imagine, you are engaging divine power. Every scene you dwell on, every image you hold, is a seed sown into the subconscious soil of creation. And whatever you persist in imagining, good or bad, the universe must reproduce faithfully, because imagination is law. Think of your mind as a projector. The film running through it is your assumption, what you believe to be true. The outer world is simply the screen. If you don't like the movie, you don't scold the screen. You change the film. You adjust the inner picture until it matches the life you desire. So many people waste their energy trying to rearrange the outer world, arguing, forcing, pushing, but nothing truly changes until the inner picture changes. The moment you accept a new idea of yourself, the entire universe begins to move to support that assumption. You do not need to earn what you imagine. You only need to embody it. Feel it as real. Live from it in thought, word, and tone. When the mind and feeling align, manifestation becomes inevitable. If you imagine wealth while feeling poor, the feeling will always win, because feeling is the proof your subconscious understands. But if you imagine and feel abundance together, you merge thought and energy into divine command. That is creation. Here is a simple truth. The version of you that already lives your dream exists now in imagination. And the more you visit that version, the more your current world bends to reflect it. You're not pretending. You're remembering. The outer world is the echo. Your imagination is the voice. So speak within with intention. Visualize with conviction. And most of all, feel it. Every fulfilled dream has one origin, someone, somewhere, imagined it so vividly that the universe had no choice but to comply. That same power is breathing you, thinking you, moving through you right now. It is not distant. It is intimate. It is your divine inheritance. So tonight, before you sleep, don't replay the day. Replay the life you desire. See yourself living it, not as a wish, but as memory. Let the scene become so real that your body believes it's already true, because to the subconscious mind, imagination is experience, and what is impressed within must express without. Now that you see imagination as the sacred architect of your reality, we move to the next revelation. Effort belongs to the realm of fear. It is born from the belief that you must fight for what is already yours. But the truth is, manifestation is not about force. It is about faith. When you relax, you realign. When you let go, you allow. Every time you chase what you desire, you are silently affirming that you do not have it yet. The very energy of striving pushes your desire away, for you cannot receive while you are still in the vibration of reaching. God's universe does not reward struggle. It responds to surrender. The flowers do not strain to bloom. The river does not force its flow. And yet everything in nature achieves perfection by following divine rhythm. That rhythm is already written within you. It is the pulse of creation that whispers, "Be still and know." To relax into the feeling is to rest in the knowing that your desire is already fulfilled. It is to step out of effort and into alignment to realize that your imagination has already issued the command. And the universe is simply arranging the details. When Neville said, "Feeling is the secret," he was pointing to this sacred paradox. The more you try, the less you trust. The more you trust, the less you need to try. Because the moment you feel it real, creation begins. No strain, no ritual, no magic formula, only belief embodied. Effort comes from separation. Faith comes from union. When you know that God and your imagination are one, you stop trying to get from the universe and start allowing life to express through you. The world teaches you to hustle, to grind, to make things happen. But the divine law operates on vibration, not exhaustion. You cannot command from chaos. You command from calm. When your heart is still, your word becomes law. When your mind is quiet, your feeling speaks loudest. So the real work is not outer, it is inner. It is the discipline of peace. It is learning to rest in the middle of uncertainty, to trust even when appearances show the opposite. This is why the mystics call it the effortless art of allowing. Not laziness, but spiritual mastery, a knowing that what you desire already exists. And your only task is to tune into that frequency. When you tune your feeling to the vibration of completion, you become magnetically aligned with your manifestation. You are not creating from scratch. You are simply choosing which version of reality you wish to experience. The universe does not resist, it mirrors. So take a breath. Relax your shoulders. Let the worry fade. That feeling of ease is not complacency. It is power. It is the signature of divine certainty. And when you rest in that certainty, you will see that what you once chased now begins to chase you. In the next chapter, we will move even deeper into this mystery, how the power of faith transforms feeling into form. Faith is not noise. It doesn't shout. It doesn't plead. It assumes. True faith is silent power, an invisible decree that rearranges worlds without moving a single muscle. When you hold a vision with quiet conviction, you send a command that the universe cannot ignore. Florence Scovel Shinn once said, "Faith knows it is already received." That's the essence of assumption, not asking, not waiting, but knowing. Imagine this. Your mind is the seed. Your faith is the soil. And your emotion is the water that awakens life within the unseen. When the seed of desire is planted, it disappears beneath the surface. You cannot see it, yet it is alive, reaching, expanding, forming roots beneath the soil of consciousness. The one who doubts digs up the seed to check if it's growing. The one who believes simply waters and waits. Faithful assumption is that waiting not in anxiety, but in certainty. It says, "Because I have imagined it, it already exists." This is the mirror law. Whatever you assume within, life must reflect without. If you see the world as hostile, you meet resistance. If you see it as generous, you mate provision. The mirror does not decide, it reflects. And your consciousness is holding the mirror. Your assumption is not wishful thinking. It is divine authorship. Each assumption you persist in becomes a decree written upon the fabric of reality. What you call miracle is simply the universe echoing your conviction. When Neville Goddard spoke of living in the end, he meant exactly this: to assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled and refuse to move from it. You hold your inner position until reality surrenders to your belief. It's not about how long you hold it, but how fully you believe it's done. Because one moment of absolute faith holds more creative force than a lifetime of doubt. So here's the secret practice. At night, before sleep, Close your eyes and see the scene that implies your wish fulfilled. Not as hope, but as memory. Hear the voices congratulating you. Feel the comfort of the result. Let it sink into your body until your breathing changes. Until it feels real enough that you no longer desire, you simply rest. This is the silent command. It is the unseen word that God honors. You don't need to convince or compete. You only need to assume faithfully, quietly, completely. In the next chapter, we will awaken the frequency that sustains this assumption, the energy of gratitude that turns knowing into magnetism. Gratitude is not a reaction. It is a frequency, the very vibration that tunes you to the reality you desire. While most people wait to receive before they give thanks, the wise give thanks first. And reality rushes to meet that vibration. When you say thank you from the depths of your being, you are declaring to the universe, it is done. You are saying, I have already received, I am only now witnessing the unfolding. Florence Scovel Shinn called gratitude a magnetic attitude. It's the emotion that collapses distance between imagination and manifestation. Gratitude is the evidence of belief because you do not thank for what you hope to get. You thank for what you know is already yours. Every time you feel genuine appreciation, you become a magnet for harmony. You align yourself with abundance. You stop vibrating lack and start vibrating completion. Think of your desire as a song that's already playing on a certain frequency. You don't create the song. You tune into it. Gratitude is the dial. When you feel grateful, you synchronize with the frequency of receiving, and in that state, blessings can find you effortlessly. If worry tightens the heart, gratitude opens it. If fear contracts your world, gratitude expands it. It dissolves resistance without struggle, because it shifts your energy from asking to allowing. Here's the mystery. Gratitude and faith are not separate. They are two expressions of the same knowing. Faith says, I know it's done. Gratitude says, thank you that it's done. Together, they form the creative loop that holds the entire manifestation process. You plant with faith, and you water with gratitude. Each moment of sincere thanks strengthens the roots of your desire in the unseen realm, even when you cannot yet see results. Gratitude is your declaration that the process is alive and perfect. Practice this daily when you wake up. Whisper, thank you. It is already unfolding in divine order. When you eat, when you walk, when you breathe, let gratitude be the background music of your mind, because the heart that gives thanks continuously lives in constant alignment. Soon, you'll notice the smallest things begin to glow, with meaning. A message arrives at the right time. A door opens that once seemed locked. A delay reveals itself as protection. Gratitude doesn't force the universe, it invites it with elegance. So, as you walk in faith, walk also in thanks. Let every breath carry the vibration of completion, because when gratitude becomes your natural state, manifestation becomes your natural experience. In the next chapter, we release the final obstacle to effortless creation, the illusion of time, and how letting go of the timeline opens the floodgates of divine flow. Time is not your master. It is your mirror. It reflects what you believe about how long things should take. When you say, it's been too long, the universe hears delay. When you say, it's already done, the universe collapses time to meet your belief. Every waiting energy creates more waiting. But every assumption of completion speeds the unfolding of what you seek, because in divine truth, there is no waiting. There is only alignment. Florence Scovel Shinn said it best, never run after your ship. It comes in over a calm sea. That calm sea is your consciousness. And the moment you stop chasing time, time begins to chase you. Letting go of the timeline does not mean you give up on your desire. It means you give up on control, the illusion that you must manage the timing of divine intelligence. The gardener does not dig up the seed to check its progress. She waters it, trusts the soil, and knows that nature moves in perfect sequence. The same law governs your manifestations. Once the seed of your vision is planted in imagination, it will bloom in its appointed hour. And that hour is not later. It is when you stop resisting now. There is a vast difference between surrender and giving up. Giving up says, "It's not happening." Surrender says, "It is already done." Giving up collapses your energy. Surrender expands it. One disconnects you from divine flow. The other merges you with it. When you let go of the timeline, you are not abandoning your dream. You are stepping into the eternal now where creation already exists. Imagine standing in a hallway of infinite doors. Each door leads to a different version of your reality. The door you open depends on your vibration. When you say, "I'm still waiting," you remain in the hallway. But when you say, "I already have it," you walk through the door. This is the meaning of living from the end. You do not wait for proof. You become the proof. You speak, act, and rest from the state of fulfillment. And reality must mirror your assumption. Time bends for the one who believes. That is why miracles seem to happen suddenly. They are not sudden. They are revealed when resistance dissolves. When faith becomes singular and pure, creation appears instantaneous. Every moment of impatience is a whisper of doubt. And doubt is like fog. It blurs your vision of the promise already standing before you. Faith, on the other hand, clears the sky. It opens the channel for divine timing to move without friction. So let go of counting days. Stop measuring progress. Your manifestations are not delayed. They are developing. Every event, every detour, every quiet pause is a bridge of incidents guiding you home to what you already claimed. You may not see the movement yet, but under the soil of the unseen, everything is alive. When you stop asking, when you start hearing now, that now is where power lives. That now is where faith breathes. That now is where the universe performs its sacred mathematics, aligning, weaving, arranging, until your desire stands before you, effortless and complete. So, be still. Let the timeline go. Let life surprise you with divine precision. Because the one who trusts time to God never runs late. In the next chapter, we will explore the sacred art of living from the end, how faith walks as if the prayer has already been answered. To live from the end is to live as if the promise is already kept. It is to step into the version of yourself who already holds what you once desired. And to let that state, not the evidence of the senses, be your new reality. This is not imagination as fantasy. It is imagination as divine command. When you live from the end, you stop rehearsing lack and begin rehearsing fulfillment. You stop praying for something to come and begin thanking God that it already has. Florence Scovel Shinn called this acting as if the prayer were already answered. It is not pretending, it is prophetic embodiment. It is the recognition that all creation begins and ends in consciousness. And consciousness, your awareness, is the Word made flesh. When Neville Goddard taught, "Live in the end," he meant that your job is not to get, but to become, to assume the feeling of already having, and to let that feeling rewrite the script of your life. Imagine this for a moment. You are an actor on a divine stage. The scene you wish to live: wealth, love, health, peace already exists in the script. Your only task is to take your place in that scene. The audience, the outer world, does not control the performance. They only see what you embody. If you act from the end with conviction, the world must respond as the stage set rearranges to match your role. When you truly embody that state, something mystical happens. Your body relaxes. Your words soften. Your energy changes. You begin to speak like someone who already arrived. You stop explaining, defending, or waiting. You move through your day with the quiet confidence of completion. That confidence is not arrogance, it's alignment. It is spiritual poise. It's the awareness that says, the world is not deciding for me, it is reflecting me. Let us make this practical. Close your eyes and imagine one fulfilled moment that implies your wish has come true. Not the process, not the steps, just the result. If your desire was to receive abundance, perhaps see yourself sitting in quiet peace. Bills paid. Heart calm. Smiling at the overflow in your account. If your desire was for healing, imagine yourself walking freely, laughing effortlessly, hearing someone say, "You look radiant," and feeling that joy bloom from within. Don't force the image. Let it arise naturally. Don't analyze, feel. Let the sensation of done sink into your body like warmth through your skin. Let it anchor into your heart until you can no longer tell if you're imagining or remembering. Because when it feels like a memory, it's already real. Faith walks as though the prayer were already answered. Every step you take becomes an act of confirmation. You no longer say, "One day it will come." You say, "This is who I am now." When you live from that vibration, your world reorganizes itself quietly, without strain, without force, without obsession. Conversations shift, people appear, opportunities align, but not because you chase them, because you magnetize them by being the version of you who naturally attracts them. The law of assumption is never mechanical, it's musical. The melody of your emotion conducts the orchestra of your life. When you hum the tune of fulfillment, everything in your reality starts playing in harmony. Living from the end is not about pretending something false, it's about recognizing that your imagination is the higher reality. And the physical world is simply catching up. Your task is not to make it happen. Your task is to hold the inner movie until it feels natural. And when it feels natural, it manifests because nature always follows law. This is why so many fail at manifestation. They visit the end for a few moments, then return to the waiting room of doubt. But faith does not visit, faith abides. It lives in the house of completion and refuses to leave. Even when the outer world shows cracks in the wall, to live from the end means you surrender to divine order. You stop arguing with appearances and trust the unfolding. You stop asking when and start affirming now. You stop saying, "I hope," and start declaring, "I am." Every time you catch yourself slipping into lack, gently return to the feeling of fulfillment. No guilt, no panic, just a shift. Feel your breathing steady. Whisper to yourself, "It's already done." You are not pretending. You are remembering. You are remembering the reality that your soul already knows to be true. Here's a sacred truth. You can never manifest what you are chasing. You only manifest what you are being. Desire fulfilled lives in the state of I am. Desire unfulfilled lives in the state of I will. And the universe, ever obedient, matches your state exactly. When you say, "I will be wealthy," it responds, "Then you will be." When you say, "I am wealthy now," it responds, "So it is." You don't wait for life to change before you change your identity. You change your identity first. And life mirrors that change without delay. Living from the end also means releasing the need for proof. Faith is its own evidence. The moment you require confirmation, you step out of alignment. The seed never asks for proof of growth, it just grows. When you trust your inner vision more than the outer picture, you graduate from hoping to knowing, and in that knowing, you become unstoppable. Each night before sleep, return to your end scene. Don't analyze or overthink it, simply feel it real. Let your final thought before sleep be the fulfilled state of your desire. Because the mind before sleep is the gatekeeper of creation. Whatever emotion dominates that twilight state will be impressed upon the subconscious. And the subconscious will spend the night rearranging your world accordingly. When you wake, carry that feeling into your morning. Walk, breathe, and speak as though you're living the result now. Your energy will broadcast completion, and the world will echo your vibration with uncanny precision. Living from the end is a daily devotion, not a one-time exercise. It is worship through awareness. It is communion with divine truth. It is saying with your entire being, I trust the unseen more than the seen. I believe the invisible more than the visible. And in that trust, the invisible becomes visible. Faith becomes fact. Desire becomes memory. Heaven becomes earth. So remember this. You are not hoping for your dream. You are embodying its reality. You are not waiting for the universe to choose you. You are choosing yourself in alignment with divine will. And the moment you do, the end you imagined becomes the beginning of your new life. There is no delay in God. There is only divine sequence. The moment you imagine and feel your desire as real, creation is finished. But what follows is not waiting, it is alignment. It is the quiet orchestration of events by a wisdom far greater than the human mind can comprehend. The law works instantly, yet the outpicturing unfolds in perfect rhythm, in perfect order. When you relax into that truth, something beautiful happens. An invisible peace takes over. You stop trying to force the flower to bloom before its appointed hour. You stop digging up the seed every morning to see if it has sprouted. You stop chasing what was already declared yours in the unseen. You realize that divine timing is not delay. It is protection, precision, and perfection. Every detour, every silence, every pause, these are not punishments. They are sacred alignments. They are the way the infinite prepares both you and your world to meet each other in harmony. Imagine a symphony being played by the unseen hand of spirit. Each nota, each rest, each pause has purpose. If the violins rushed ahead, if the drums broke rhythm, the melody would shatter. And so it is with your manifestations. Your role is not to conduct the orchestra. Your role is to stay in tune. Faith is the tuning fork. Peace is the pitch. Rest is the rhythm. When you rest in the knowing that it is done, your vibration becomes steady, unwavering. You stop oscillating between faith and fear. You move from anxiety to assurance. You become like still water that reflects heaven perfectly. And in that stillness, the bridge of incidents begins to rise under your feet. Most people call this waiting, but the awakened call it becoming. You are not waiting for your desire. Your desire is waiting for you. It waits for you to become equal in consciousness to what you have claimed. It waits for your nervous system to match the peace of answered prayer. It waits for you to feel natural in the state you have assumed. That is why rushing never works. Rushing is the language of doubt. It says, I don't trust that God heard me. But when you relax into divine order, you say, the moment I felt it, it was done. You stop measuring time by clocks and calendars, and you begin to measure it by consciousness. Florence Scovel Shinn once said, nothing stands between man and his highest good, but his own doubt or impatience. And isn't that the truth? Impatience is the thief of miracles. It digs up the seed before the roots have formed. It demands evidence from a universe that moves in silence. But faith, true faith, smiles in the dark and says, "It is finished." In that invisible smile, miracles are born. Think of the farmer. He does not plant a seed and shout at the soil. He does not pace the field demanding growth. He knows the law of seasons. He knows that the seed contains the pattern, and the soil knows what to do. So he plants, waters, and rests. That is divine timing. That is perfect order. And you, too, are a spiritual farmer. You plant ideas in the garden of your imagination. You water them with feeling. You rest in faith. And when the harvest time comes, not a second too soon, not a second too late, your desire rises out of the unseen as form. The same law that governs the stars governs your dreams. So when it feels like nothing is happening, remember this: in the invisible, everything is happening, while your senses see stillness. Spirit is rearranging the chessboard of life. People are being moved. Opportunities are being prepared. Hearts are being softened. Roads are being cleared. The delay you dread is divine choreography. Sometimes, divine order even hides your desire from you because premature manifestation can destroy what only maturity can sustain. You think you're ready, but God knows the inner foundation still needs strengthening. So He slows your pace not to deny you, but to prepare you, because the universe doesn't deliver to demand, it delivers to readiness. And readiness is not about effort, it's about peace. When your inner world feels like home to the thing you've asked for, it must appear. For nothing comes to you, everything comes through you. So instead of asking, "When will it happen?" ask, "Am I dwelling in peace right now?" Because peace is proof that the manifestation is near. Turbulence is a sign of resistance. Peace is the evidence of alignment. Relaxation is faith embodied. It is the quiet confidence of the soul that knows it is already provided for. It is the sacred surrender that opens the floodgates of divine supply. So breathe. Rest your mind. Know that what you have imagined has already been fulfilled in the mind of God. Say quietly to yourself, "I do not chase. I attract. What belongs to me is already finding me. I am one with divine order. I am on time. I am in rhythm. I am the perfect expression of perfect timing." Let those words sink deeper than your thoughts. Let them become the pulse of your being. For when you align with divine order, the outer world can do nothing but follow. Remember, it was never about waiting. It was always about becoming. And once you have become, manifestation is not arrival, it is reflection. The universe does not respond to your words. It responds to your state. It listens not to the sound of your voice, but to the tone of your heart. When you are anxious, even the sweetest affirmation carries the vibration of fear. When you are calm, even a whisper becomes a decree of power. The outer world is your mirror, not your master, and that mirror reflects, with perfect accuracy, the atmosphere of your inner being. So if you would change the reflection, you must first change the stillness within. Calm is the royal language of creation. It is the soundless command that says, "It is done." Imagine standing before a lake at dawn. The surface is glass still, pure, untouched. In that stillness, heaven reflects perfectly. Every tree, every cloud, every ray of light dances in symmetry. But toss a single stone, and the reflection breaks. The sky has not changed, only the surface has. And so it is with you. Heaven has never changed. Your good, your answered prayer, your perfect order, all remain untouched in the infinite. But the ripples of worry, Fear and impatience distort the reflection. When you calm the waters, creation reappears exactly as it was ordained. This is why Florence Scovel Shinn said, "Be still and know that your good is safe. Nothing can be lost that belongs to you by divine right." Calm is not passive. It is not indifference. It is divine control, the mastery that comes from knowing the outcome is already complete. The world rushes to those who no longer chase it. Money flows to those who bless it with peace. Love appears to those who have already become love in stillness. You do not chase the mirror, you adjust your light. You do not fight the reflection, you center the source. The law is simple. The outer always bows to the inner four. When you walk in peace, circumstances rearrange themselves in silence. Delismilt. People soften. Doors unlock without knocking. Because the universe, like a faithful servant, mirrors the master's calm command. And that master is you when you remember who you are. Every time you breathe deeply, instead of reacting, you reset the field of creation. Every time you choose stillness over panic, you collapse the wave of chaos into order. Every time you say, "It is well," the world bows to that vibration. So let this be your daily practice. Wake up and dwell in quiet awareness before the world begins its noise. Close your eyes and declare softly, "I am calm because I trust the law. I am still because I know it is done." Then go about your day, not as one who is waiting, but as one who is remembering. Every peaceful breath is a silent proclamation that the universe obeys your calm. Even when the storm rises, hold your peace. Even when nothing seems to move, hold your peace. For the storm only tests the strength of your center. And every master has learned nothing outside can shake what is anchored within. There is a quiet power that moves through calm souls, a current so strong that the world rearranges itself to match their stillness. That is the true secret of manifestation. Not endless affirmations, not disparate prayer, but the calm conviction that the thing is already yours. Because calm is the evidence of faith, worry is proof of forgetting, and the universe impartial. Precise will echo whichever voice you embody. So if you wish to see harmony, be harmony. If you wish to see abundance, be abundance. If you wish to see love, be love. Do not shout at the mirror, smile at it. Do not fight with life, bless it. And it will reflect your blessing. As Neville Goddard wrote, "Your assumption, if persisted in, will harden into fact. But what gives assumption its power is not repetition, it is peace. The calm certainty that it is already done. For calm is not the absence of motion, it is the mastery of it." Now close your eyes for a moment. Feel the breath moving gently through you. The breath that created worlds. It does not rush. It does not force. It simply flows. This is how manifestation works in divine rhythm, not human panic. And as you align with that rhythm, you find that everything you once asked for is already surrounding you. Let this be your final decree. I move through life in peace. My calm commands miracles. My world mirrors my inner harmony. I am still, and all things move in divine order. Breathe those words into your soul, because the calm you cultivate today becomes the heaven you walk in tomorrow. Remember, the universe doesn't hear your fear. It hears your faith. And faith, when fully matured, always sounds like peace. Take a deep breath. Let your shoulders soften. Let your breath slow down. You have traveled through the law, the stillness, the imagination, the faith, the gratitude, and the divine calm. Now, you stand exactly where everything you've asked for already exists, inside the still center of God's perfect order. There is nothing left to chase, Nothing left to prove. You don't have to hold on anymore. You only need to allow. The moment you relax, the law begins to serve you. The moment you trust, heaven begins to move. And the moment you rest in peace, your world becomes proof of divine love in motion. If this message brought you stillness, stay in that feeling. Let it echo through your heart as you drift into rest, knowing that the universe mirrors your calm. You are safe. You are guided. You are provided for. And everything unfolds exactly as it should, not one heartbeat too early, not one breath too late. Before you leave, whisper quietly to yourself, "It is done." I rest in the knowing. If this truth resonated with your soul, subscribe to Florence Scovel Legacy, where faith becomes sound, and sound becomes manifestation. Join us as each word, each teaching, and each meditation leads you deeper into the infinite rhythm of divine order, where your calm commands miracles, and your peace becomes your prayer.